Today we discuss the concept of actuator and admin server. So what is this actuator? If you just see in single line definition, it is a collection of production ready endpoints. But what is the meaning of this? Okay, that's fine. Definition wise, it is okay. But what is the meaning of this one here? If you are in the development environment, no much issues will come. If your application is moved to production server, means actual server, okay, where the application is given to end user, that's actually called production server. When the application moved to production and application is running there, lot of issues will occur. Okay, some environment related, data loading related, permission related, lot of things will occur here. Okay, so this application, when it is running, so we are going to have some issues. What are the objects created? Okay, so what are mappings are given? I just want to find out. What are logging levels are provided? I just want to change it. Okay, so what are the schedulings are running here? What is the environment loaded here? So what is the heap related thread related details? I just want to find it here. So some additional services we require, which are actually common for any type of application, additional services. Not only Tomcat and JDK, some additional services required to know objects created, mapping provided, logging levels, scheduling, environment heap, is application running perfectly or not, how many instances, okay, application started or not here, I just want to know here, number of instances it is created. Okay, so you want to get some additional services. For such additional services, you need not to use any additional tool, or you need not to write additional code. Okay, no additional tools or code required outside of your application. So for this, Spring Boot has given a solution, ready-made services. Okay, these are all services has become ready-made, predefined. In your understanding, these are all already available. You need not write the code for this. You need not to use code for this. Those are actually called endpoints. Okay, standard terminology, endpoints. In your understanding, these are ready-made services. This collection of endpoints is not one endpoint. One endpoint is for object mapping, one is for mapping, one is for logging. Like n endpoints are given, that collection is named as actuator. So what is actually happening in production in simple? To know in simple, what exactly is going at production. Okay, in your understanding words I will give. When application is moved into production environment, when application is moved into production environment, lot of issues occurs. So we need so many tools. some services required to know is application started, how many instances, objects created, mappings are proper. Okay, so what about heap related, threads related information? What are logging levels? Okay, so like that we'll be having some additional services to be known. Yeah, that is called health check and all. That is called health check, info check and all. Here we can call. What is the current application status? Is that down or up? Okay, so if you want to know here, all the details will be there here. Some services required to know. Okay, so the point is generally for above services, we need to add some code or use tools. Actually, we need to add some additional coding or we need to use tools, but in Spring Boot, okay, it is not required to add code or use tools. Okay, so do you want to check all these things here? Even more are there. I just gave few like application started or not, instances, mappings, logging, scheduling, heap, cache, threads. Okay, all the things. Okay, additional services. These are not application specific. Application nothing but register a user. Okay, these are the functional. These are additional. Functional nothing but user module, payment module. Okay, cart module like this will be having functional. Additional services this time, ready-made services. Every service is actually called endpoint. Collection of endpoints, they gave a name called actuator. Okay, so here all these services ready-made in Spring Boot, and every service is called as actuator. Okay, that is actually called as actuator. Sorry, every service is called as endpoint. Okay, such collection of services in bracket endpoints given as actuator. Okay, so here if you look at, first we'll look at about actuator, then reducing the work of actuator using admin server. Actuator concept is different, admin server concept is different, to be clear, but in real time combinedly used. Actuator is from Spring Boot, admin server is from code centric third party. Okay, first we'll come with actuator concept. Then I'll activate the concept of admin server. You can just see here. Actuator test I'm just giving here. Next button. Here I'm choosing web dependency, DevTools dependency, Spring Boot actuator. Okay, next and finish. So actuator added. Okay, so I'm not doing anything here. Just I'm running the application. No configurations, nothing. Only dependency added. Okay, other web, everything is there here. Actuator is added. Nothing I'm just doing. Trying to run the application. Trying to run the application here. Okay, it is running on a port number 8080 by default. Okay, and here if you look at, you will understand, you will just observe one message. Okay, so here there is a message you can observe. Okay, exposing one endpoint. You can see beneath base path slash actuator. Okay, endpoint link resolver message. You can see here. This message you can observe only if you add actuator dependency. Okay, if we add actuator dependency, you see here. What is a base path is slash actuator. Go to browser and just type localhost 8080 slash actuator and press enter. There is one service is given that is called health check. If we just click on this, it will show something like up or down mainly. You can see some status up, application is working fine. Now see, it is giving only one service, like application started or not, health check. I want to know remaining services also. Do you want to find remaining services? In properties file, you have tried a key management dot endpoint dot web dot exposure include is equals to star. Endpoints means services. Okay, here I mentioned one endpoint is nothing but one service. Remember, service nothing but endpoint. Collection of endpoints actuator. Whenever you write this key, look at the value. Application started here. This time you see how many endpoints it is exposing. Previously it is showing a number 1. Okay, now it is exposing 13 here. Okay, now see, come and do refresh. So in real time, we need some additional services. These additional services, you need not write the code. These are all ready-made services. Okay, every service is called one endpoint. Collection of endpoints called actuator. Like scheduling checkings, environment checkings, heap and thread checkings, all these checkings. So how can we access? Just add actuator dependency here. In the properties, enable all, or you can enable a specific one. You don't want all actually here. See, lot has come. Bean, cache, health, info, conditions, config. You don't want this many. You want, for example, only info and env. You can write name specific info comma env. Save it. See here. You'll see info and env specific. Okay. So here they'll ask some questions here. What are the steps to activate actuator? Okay. Step number 1, at your application, add Spring Boot actuator. Yeah, for every microservice. Right click, Spring, add starter, actuator, pom.xml and finish. Step number 2, at properties file, either activate all endpoints or selected endpoints. Okay, if you write star here, you can just see everything is activated. No sir, I want some 3-4 like that. You write comma separated values. Okay, so if you want to see how can we see list of actuators, it's done. Run your application and enter URL like http://localhost some assumption port number 8080/actuator. Come and just do refresh, you will see all. So how can we see list of actuators here? This is a point. Come and do refresh. Look at the beans, cache, health, info, conditions, config props, env, logger, heap dump, thread dump, metrics, schedule task and mappings here you can see. You can check at console just for confirmation message. Okay, endpoint link resolver. So if you look at here, so endpoint link resolver added in Spring Boot 2. Okay, which actually takes a collection of endpoints actually here, which need to be exposed here. That is internally a linked hash map of links, whatever the links you see here. Okay, so this actually checking here what are exposed actually and what are not here. Okay, just starts with a symbol slash here. Okay, it's just creating the links here. That is starting with a link. You can just see here /actuator/env like that names it is taking and putting here. So this is a endpoint link resolver logic exists here. Okay, resolves the links to web endpoints here. Okay, so you can just see here exposable endpoints here, endpoint ID. Okay, collection of operations it is giving here by default. So there is a class, you can just see. It's a Control-Shift-T. Okay, now let me just show here some points. Now for example, you want to see what are the objects created, just click on beans. No one will do manually like this. Okay, we'll go with AdminServer. Okay, initially. So we'll better write one application class. Right click new class I'm writing. Employee REST controller or employee API. Just I'm writing hello here. Like this I wrote. Now let us run this application and see. Command just to refresh here. Here you can just confirm, is your object created or not? Employee REST controller. Yes, it is created. You can just, so here it's REST controller and dependence nothing. No has a variables. Scope is singleton. Type and resources you can see that is called beans. To know what are the objects available. Cache is nothing but it's a Redis cache. It is going to show here. No cache managers. We'll see that later even. Health indicates application started or not here. You can even add some additional properties for more health details by specific to management dot endpoint dot okay, health dot okay health dot here. So just I'm mentioning show details. Okay, actually we have to use when authorized. This recommended one only on login success, but for temporarily I'm just showing always. The default value is actually never. It will never show all the details. So the disk information, if you want to just check it, how much RAM it is internally using. Okay, so what is the current status? Ping nothing but is it actually able to be accessed or not here? Current status it is going to be disk status and it is showing here. Okay, yeah, by using permission memory you can modify if you want here. And even if you want to change the base path also you can write it here. Okay, and next one, if you look at some info will be there. It will show some empty application information we call. Okay, do you want to add some info dot okay client dot app dot name is equals to sample. Running this application and see here, it's not effective. You can write any key is equals to value. It will show here. If you click on info, it's not effective. No, by default it is enabled management dot endpoint dot info enabled true. This is only just a key info dot my dot app dot title is equals to sample. Anything you write key is equals to value, it will be affected. Why it's not reflecting? I have included all. No work. Okay, I'll see that. Some info dot key is equals to value if you write here, that's actually going to show in the JSON format here, nothing else. Some JSON format will come. Okay, let this be. I'll check what is the issue here. I think in the latest versions there will be some bugs possible. So this data will come in the JSON format like this. So here, my colon, something like app colon, title colon, some sample like this. It will come here. So this is actually called info. Application information will be shown. Okay, just to show application information here. Okay, some conditions it is going to show here. Application loading conditions, config props. So initially we discussed about config props. If you remember, conditions and config props. For example, data JPA. If you remember, spring.jpa dot like config props at rate configuration bulk loading at rate value. If you compare, so what are the config props loaded? Environment, nothing but properties what are loaded here, all the key values. So server dot port, even system specific, OS related, JDK related, everything, and your key and values even complete memory here. Okay, so logger levels here we cannot modify. I'll show in the actuate admin server. So you can download the thread dump and heap dump. Okay, so to read the heap dump, okay, we are going to use VM visualizers. Okay, visual VM and all will be there. I don't know in your your company what software is used. Okay, we have company specific software even in the production support. This is a free software if you want. Of course, you might have seen core Java. If you're listening for very first time, please look at this. Okay, this is actually VM visualizer. This is open source only I'm using. In the paid source, you can see lot of things. Paid versions, you can see lot of things here. Okay, if you just run this VM visualizer here, there is a visual VM tool. Okay. I'm loading the file. Keep down. You can see all the information. Complete summary, object details, threads. Okay. So console based output loading here. If you write a script or console also, if you know that, you can write it. Okay. So here I can see. So the relations objects type here. All the informations here. Okay. So of course there will be even graphical representation comes if you go to actuator. Here I'm just showing this one. Okay, so if you want to find out some metrics, which method is called how many times and all. Okay, what is actually happening, JVM related memory, scheduling related information you can see here. Okay, which URL is mapped with what? For example, /show, I think it's a /data is mapped with the employee register controller here. Okay, but like this, no one will do manual process. Okay, so there will be a central admin server. Okay, assumption you have microservices. Okay, this is microservice 1. Microservice 1. Here you added actuator. That is fine. But here we have a lot of microservices. For all, we cannot do manual checking, right? Like entering the URL and all. There should be some client automated services given. This is called admin server. We can run on any port number. So it's a recommended port number 999. That's your interest, whatever you want to work here. Admin server will get the data and it will show in the visual format. Same output. Okay, graphical format you can also call it here. But to make that, you need to add one additional link here. You need to add here admin client. No, I don't want to link it, then leave it. If you don't add, link is not created. So if you add admin client, yes, link is created. Even config server also, that's your interest. Okay, and you have to mention the URL where exactly that application is running. Assumption some port number here. It will internally make a request call for all the endpoints data, okay, and get the information and store here. Okay, it's admin server. So let me just do it for our applications even if possible. Application.properties. So admin server is not from Spring Boot. Admin server is from Code Centric. Yeah, it's a third-party services, open source third-party library used to create visual format for actuator services or actuator endpoints. We can also call it here. Spring Boot integration is done here. Okay, one of the mostly used tool, even this one, admin server. Of course, in the future, Spring Boot specific may come, but this is also mostly used as of now. Okay, so here you need to add admin client at every microservice and one time admin server. Link them using admin URL. Okay. Now assumption for existed application, how it can be done. Okay, this is a Eureka server, config server, product service. We have like this. Now I'm creating an admin server. Admin server. Next button, choosing admin server. If you go here, here we need to add one time. This is for all microservices. Admin server, next and finish. Eureka is to store register data and loads. Admin server gives additional services, where config server will give key values. Three purpose different. Okay, so there I'm writing server.port. Any port number is fine. Only two steps. If you run this application here, this is independent of Eureka and config server. See how many applications are running. Okay, like this, you can see instance and all here. So here, admin server setup. Just a very simple process here. You create one application, Spring Cloud admin server. Dependency you need to add admin server. Of course, you can use port 8080 also. Remember, while using any port number, do not repeat that. Okay, if you want to see all the services in a visualized format, we are going to use this one. Same actuator concepts only. Okay, in your understanding, you're fixing a CC camera in your building. To mention what is the use case of admin server, you are just fixing a CC camera in your building, in simple words. Okay, no, we don't add admin server to Eureka or config. All are independent services, but microservice connected to all. Product service. Okay, Spring add starter. We need to add two things here: actuator and admin client. Next, and finish here. Okay, and here you need to add one key. So already endpoints activated, admin server location. Of course, that is also you can add in config server. Client, we have to give one input URL. That's at every microservice level. Here only admin server, but at microservice, actuator and admin client. And application.properties, we need to add this. Okay, now you run the applications in the order. Look at the execution order. Okay, one, Eureka server, config server, admin server, all are independent. You can run in any order. Second one, microservice application, multiple times or multiple instances you can say here. Eureka server, admin server, config server, same repeat for every microservice, either it's a producer or consumer, repeat for same here. Now I'm running the product service. Okay. Generally, Eureka runs in the private environment, but you can use in the coding part. You can see how many applications and how many instances are running here. Okay. Click on this name. Initially, once you go to this URL, click on this ID. Now you see. So health status, metadata, thread details, memory, environments. You can search even, of course. You can reload the data. Any modifications are there here. Context refresh, beans. Some people ask, sir, how you execute refresh actually? Here we'll come to instance and refresh context and confirm. Any key values modified in the config server will be reloaded here. Just click on this refresh environment. Okay. On the last day, postman request we made. Actually, we should not do this. Just click on this. Refresh go. Okay. And what are the beans available? For example, REST template, REST controller, product REST controller is there. So all the information, config props. Okay. Scheduling CP right here. How to change the logger levels to specific application here. Okay. They will ask, for example, in.naresh it is there. I want to change it to warning. Just change it here. No need to do any code changes. Sufficient. Over. Info debug. Okay, check your package name. Write the logger level. By default enabled. In Spring or Hibernate manually you need to set, but not here. Okay, thread dumps. You can see what are the different threads are running. Okay, and heap dump. You can download and mappings. Cache. I'll give some Redis cache. Just check it on that one. Okay, so here you can see all the details. Okay, so this is a URL, Eureka server, to confirm that actuator config server. And if you just go to wallboard, see how many services running, you can see applications. Of course, if you want, you can check your project also, but I'm just showing on admin server mostly. Okay, this is a concept here, admin server. I'm just giving completely like one mini project here, practice like same. Okay, so there are multiple microservices. How we are going to expose. Okay, that's actually here. What numbers your interest? Okay, so if you just click on this URL, it will go to that application. /show /product and /data like this. /show, some URL will be there, right? It will go to that application. Okay, so I'm just giving some additional support, additional work to you. Okay, so we cannot learn complete DevOps, that's fine. Okay, that's okay. Even that's not possible to go through that. Here, there is a concept called ELK, Elasticsearch, Logstash, and Kibana. ELK. Okay. Please go through this ELK. Next one is a Docker. I feel some people has gone through this. Actually, few more recordings are there. I'll try to share them, while talking to admin. Okay, if not, we plan one more time, not an issue. If you are not in any classroom drive in the respectives, you can join here. Okay, so we have no session at today evening. Attend your respective classes from tomorrow at same slots. Okay, yeah, Dockers for generally for DevOps. Okay, but developer has to write some Docker image, nothing else. Okay, thank you for session. Continuation, we see in your regular classes.